Hello everyone, this is Tom from Tutor Bros. Today we're going to look at a few more special cases of multiplying polynomials. Both cases that we're going to look at today involve cubing a binomial. Now, number one, we are adding the terms of the binomial, so that would be a plus b cubed. And in number two, we are subtracting the terms, so that would be a minus b cubed. Now you'll notice that the product pattern that emerges for both cases is very similar. The only difference between them is that the second and fourth terms in the product of number two are negative, so that would be minus 3a squared b and minus b cubed. So other than those two terms, the signs being negative, everything else in the product pattern of number one and two is the same. Okay, so in number one, when we cube a binomial where we're adding the two terms, the product will always be the cube of the first term, so that's a cubed, plus 3 times the square of the first term times the second term, so that's the 3a squared b, plus 3 times the first term times the square of the second term, plus the cube of the second term. So to help you remember this a little bit better, just take note of the fact that the first term in the binomial gets raised to the third power in the product, then the second power, and so on as we move from left to right. So we have a cubed, a squared, a, and then a to the 0, which we don't express in the last term. And then similarly with the second term, we start with b cubed and then go to b squared, and so on if we move from right to left. So if we start again with the b cubed, b squared, b, and then b to the 0, which we don't express in the first term. Now again, this is a lot of information, so the best way to demonstrate this pattern would just be to go through it with an example problem. So let's do that together. All right, let's say we have x plus 2 cubed. So to evaluate this expression, we will take a look at the product pattern in number one and use that to find the answer. Okay, so to find the first term in the product, we have to cube the first term in the binomial, so that would be x, and we cube that, we get x cubed. And then we add 3 times the first term in the binomial squared, so that's x squared, times the second term, which is 2, plus 3 times the first term in the binomial, which is x, times the square of the second term, so that's 2 squared, plus the cube of the second term, so that's 2 cubed. All right, now we have to simplify this a little bit, so x cubed remains the same, plus, and then 3x squared times 2 would be 6x squared, plus 3x times 2 squared would be 3x times 4, or 12x. And then 2 cubed would be equal to 8. So the cube of the binomial x plus 2 is going to be equal to x cubed plus 6x squared plus 12x plus 8. Okay, let's try an example modeled after number 2. So the product pattern will be exactly the same as in number 1, except remember that the second and fourth terms in the product are negative. So let's try one down here. Let's do x minus 3 cubed. Okay, and this is modeled after number 2, so you can always refer to this product pattern up here. All right, first thing we want to do is take the cube of the first term in the binomial. So we do x cubed, and then it's going to be minus 3 times the square of the first term in the binomial, so that's x squared times 3, plus 3 times the first term in the binomial times the square of the second term, and then minus the cube of the second term, which again is 3. All right, and then we'll evaluate this one. So x cubed stays the same, minus 3x squared times 3 would be 9x squared, plus 3x times 3 to the second power would be 3x times 9, or 27x. And then we subtract the cube of 3, which is 27. So the cube of the binomial x minus 3 would be x cubed minus 9x squared plus 27x minus 27.